Limit is y goes to 0 of cosine squared of y minus 1 divided by sine cubed of y minus sine squared of y. The first thing we're going to do is try plugging a 0 in for each of the y's. That will give us the cosine of 0 squared minus 1 divided by the sine of 0 cubed minus the sine of 0 squared. The cosine of 0 is a 1 squared minus 1. The sine of 0 is a 0 cubed minus a 0 squared. 1 squared is 1 minus 1. 0 cubed is 0 minus 0 squared is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. 0 minus 0 is 0. We have the 0 over 0 indeterminate form. Trig functions can factor and cancel. In the denominator, we have the ability to factor out a sine squared of y. In the numerator, it looks like we may have a form of the Pythagorean identity. Sine squared of y plus cosine squared of y equals to 1. Rearranging, cosine squared of y minus 1 equals to negative sine squared of y. So I can replace that numerator with negative sine squared of y. And in the denominator, I can factor out a sine squared of y. And that's going to leave me with a sine y and then minus a 1. Now it's the sine squared of y, or just sine of y, that's making the zeros, and we have 0 over 0 because of that sine squared of y. Those can cancel out now, leaving us with a negative 1 in the numerator. So we have limit as y goes to 0 of negative 1 over sine y minus 1. We've eliminated the 0 over 0 indeterminate form. We can now try plugging a 0 in for the remaining y's. We will have negative 1 over the sine of 0 minus 1. The sine of 0 is a 0, so negative 1 over 0 minus 1. 0 minus 1 is minus 1, and we have a negative 1 over a negative 1, which canceled to become a positive 1.